Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Tuesday, September 28th. And this local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer. Beaver Toyota, here to wow you.
Much like your listeners, we too are concerned with taxes and the efficiency of government.
Flagler Schools is seeking to raise impact fees for the first time in more than a decade. The fee is a one-time charge on the cost of a new home or a commercial structure. The revenue from the fees would pay for new school construction to meet what the district calls growing demand. Initially, Flagler Schools had been seeking to double impact fees, but now they appear to be reevaluating that request amid skepticism from both Flagler County commissioners and the community. Flagler County Attorney Michael Sciamento represents developers who would be hard hit by rising impact fees.
Our group is concerned with an increase in taxes, and not only taxes, but overspending. And they're proposing roughly about $130 to $170 million worth of improvements over the next 3 years for expansion. Well, not only does the impact fee pay for that expansion or a portion of it, the taxpayers are going to have to pay for the management of it, FPL and all the facilities that go along. So we're concerned that going too fast and building schools and building capital improvement and student stations too fast creates a tax burden on all of us, not only in the impact fee, but on our annual taxes.
Sciamento says they've questioned the district on how funds are used and whether unprecedented growth is really occurring. Flagler School Superintendent Kathy Middlestat will make the case for rising impact fees on Free for All Friday on WNZF. Tune in this Friday at 9 following Flagler's Morning News. The Northeast's largest restoration supply company is moving to Palm Coast. Amy Cherry has more.
GroundUp will relocate its operations from Connecticut to Palm Coast. Joe Santoro with GroundUp spoke to WNZF.
GroundUp, we started the business back in the 90s. We just saw a need for restoration car parts just because GM was no longer servicing these cars and offering restoration parts. So we saw a opening in the market, and we decided that there's plenty of potential here. And over the last 30 years, we've really grown our business to what it is today. And, now we consider ourselves one of the largest restoration parts supply house in the nation.
GroundUp cites lower business costs, better regulations, strong quality of life, and a significant portion of their customer base being within 25 miles of Palm Coast as reasons for the move. They'll be taking over a facility at 2 Commerce Boulevard, expanding it from 40,000 to 70,000 square feet and adding between 30 and 40 jobs. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Amy Cherry.
Residents and business owners in Flagler Beach are being surveyed to get their thoughts about recycling. John Arking has details.
Flagler Beach officials are hoping to encourage participation in a free online survey about recycling being conducted by the University of Florida on behalf of the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. The hope is to learn more about the use of disposable plastic bags, auxiliary materials, and wrappings, according to Flagler Beach City Manager William Whitson.
Basically, questions about their desire to participate in recycling and the kinds of materials that they would be willing to recycle. One of the things we're going to be doing here is looking at our local market conditions beyond this survey and seeing what we can do to be more active in recycling in the coming year.
The survey will be administered online until October 31st. You can find a link on the city's website at cityofflaglerbeach.com. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arkin.
Some of the Flagler County office's patrol car decals are designed by inmates. Karen Johnson tells us more about a program aimed at giving inmates real-life job skills they can use after they're no longer behind bars.
The Flagler County Sheriff's Office, in partnership with Flagler Technical College, is proudly recognizing 2 graduates of FCSO's Homeward Bound program at the Sheriff Perry Hall Inmate Detention Facility. The latest course offered in the Homeward Bound program trained inmates to print and apply custom-designed vinyl graphics onto vehicles. Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley began the program several years ago, still with the same goals today.
And already one of our graduates was offered a job because of his training at the jail with a company in Kissimmee, Florida. Our goal is to give inmates a hand to turn their lives around and become productive citizens. This is just one of the ways that we do it.
Sheriff Staley says graduating from the Homeward Bound program meant investing 120 hours into learning the skills for graphic design. Homeward Bound also builds on the Stride program Sheriff Staley implemented in the jail in 2017. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
He went from counseling veterans to helping them stay alive.
Stephen Weeks is the suicide prevention coordinator with Gainesville, Florida VA Hospital. He said in his work counseling veterans, he heard many of them talk about how they had PTSD, they were depressed, or they just didn't want to be here anymore. That's when, after several years with the VA, Weeks decided to take on the position that he holds now.
The VA has made suicide prevention a priority for quite some years. It was a position that became available, and I decided that I could do some good in that area. I can reach out, have a connection, and help people get the services that they need as quickly as possible.
Weeks said that he has several family members who are veterans, and he knows what they've been through. He said that helps to understand how best to do his job. Flagler Health Matters is every Saturday morning at 11:30 on WNZF. The podcast is available on the Flagler radio app. Tomorrow, the Veterans Crisis Line. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.